Hey, I was wondering if you could clear the record for us as we wrap up here. I just want to know, are you obsessed with Sam Harris? Just to clear the record.
I have photos of him all over my house. I could no longer be intimate with my wife because I am too obsessed with Sam Harris. No,
Okay.
I couldn't give a damn one way or the other
Yeah,
about Sam. In other words, I don't wish him ill.
of
I'm
course.
not obsessed with him. I use Sam as an exemplar in a few of my interventions because, well, first we were formerly friends. I know him.
Yeah.
So I admire him for many of the things that he's done. Probably 95% of the things that he's done, I respect him for. But I felt that it was inauthentic of me as someone who, by the way, in the next book, I talk about personal authenticity and existential authenticity. It
Yeah.
would be quite hypocritical, if not dishonest of me, to be, singing the praise of living an authentic life, but then never going after someone because I know them. And by
Yeah.
the way, that was something that was a real conundrum for me because for about 5 years when Sam went insane regarding Trump, I kept quiet. But then when Trump lost and now Joe Biden came to power, but Sam was still saying, the asteroid is about to hit us, the orange Himmler is about to hit us, everything is linked. I went to the dentist today. If I had a cavity, it was probably due to Trump. If my wife overcooks the meal today, it's probably due to Trump. But it's
Sure.
at that level of hysteria.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I started thinking, look, it would be inauthentic of me to completely stay silent on this because then what I'm saying is that my personal relationship with Sam supersedes the defense of truth, which in the parasitic mind, I said my two
Yeah.
life goals, ideals are truth and freedom. So
Yeah.
at first, I went after him in a satirical way. I was just trying to kind of, rib on him by, hiding under the desk. I'm so afraid of Trump. And, Sam and I are hiding under the desk. But he didn't, he could have easily taken that, haha, Gad, you got me. Instead, he unfollowed me, he blocked me. And so I said, you know what? That's a violation of my honor code, right? I come from the Middle East, plus just individually, I'm someone who's very much driven by a culture of honor and shame. I thought that that was dishonorable. I said, okay, well, I'm going to now take off the gloves. I don't call him names, although I did come up with the Malibu Meditator as a
Yep.
moniker. Again,
Yep.
it's part of my satire, but in ethics, David, there's a distinction between what's called deontological ethics and consequentialist ethics. Deontological ethics are absolute statements. It is never okay to lie. That would be a deontological statement. A
Yep.
consequentialist statement would be it's okay to lie if I'm trying to protect the feelings of someone. So if
Yeah.
your spouse says, do I look fat in those jeans? You might say, no, of course, you've never looked more beautiful. Now, I lied. It was a white lie, but I wanted to protect the feelings of my spouse because I love them. Okay.
Yeah.
So for most things in life, we put on a consequentialist hat. But
Good.
as I explained in the parasitic mind, there are some principles that are deontological. You never violate them. So, for example, presumption of innocence is a deontological statement that by definition can never be violated.
Hmm.
Okay, so when Sam Harris then says, well, when it came to Brett Kavanaugh, sure, we may not have any concrete proof that he was a gang rapist going up and down the eastern seaboard, raping everybody in sight. But, this is not a criminal case. It's a job interview for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't have to be afforded presumption of innocence. No, asshole, he does deserve to be afforded that because I would expect that you should be afforded that presumption of innocence if anybody was spreading such vile rumors about you. So that's number one.
Yeah.
That pissed me off. Number two, when he said, well, sure, I'm all about telling the truth. He wrote a book called Lying, where he said you shouldn't lie. But when the media lies about the Hunter Biden laptop and when the
Yeah.
social media shuts down the proliferation of that story, that's okay, you see, because in that case, that stopped Orange Himmler, Donald Trump, from becoming president again. So, yes, you should not lie, except if we're dealing with Donald Trump. In that case, it was perfectly okay to violate every ethics of honesty and journalistic integrity. Example three. Yes, of course, I support freedom of speech, but surely not for Donald Trump. So,
Yeah.
of course, I'm going to jump
Yeah.
up and down and thank Twitter for having canceled the sitting president of the United States. So,
Yeah.
those kinds of violations were such an affront to me that I went after him. So, am I obsessed with Sam Harris? I'm more obsessed with Ebola. I couldn't give a damn one way or another, but I'm certainly not going to not go after you because you're Sam Harris. I've gone after personal, closest family members for being assholes or false spreaders. I'm certainly not going to spare Sam Harris that ire.